infatuated with ideas of possessions and far-flung social policy. His daddy works on the council, and Mrs. loves the silver spoon. Swore she'd never kiss a Tory, but this boy was too good to lose. And I'll listen carefully with ears pressed to the floor as you make your way downstairs. You haven't got far to fall. Now it's red, now it's dead, now it's everything she needed. Now it's full, open doors, pillows pressed under your knees. Now it's a sad, sappy sucker to ensure happy ending. I've been scared of sleeping with the lights on, though she's not there. I know she's going to his flat. A Capricorn, oh fuck that. This is sex sells, I know that. I've been scared of sleeping with the lights on, no she's not there. I know she's going to his flat. A Capricorn, oh fuck that. They say sex sells, I know that. You could buy my silence if you've got none to lose. If you're still infatuated with the truth, so will you do what's easy, or will you do what's right? Please just could you let me know, where will you sleep tonight? Where you gonna sleep tonight? Where will you sleep tonight? Where you gonna sleep tonight? Where will you sleep tonight? Where will you sleep at night? How do you sleep at night? Cultured man, Venetian suntan, red wine and club bands, Viagra pills on the nightstand. How's it feel? How's it feel to be so loved? How's it feel to be so loved yet so alone? Been scared of sleeping with the lights on, no she's not there. I know she's
Going to his bed. Capricorn, oh fuck that. Cause he sex sells, I know that. Fucking see you, Katie. Sorry, I just really love this song. Why you gotta expect? Whoa. Alright, I'm gonna say this. The stream might be a little bit slow because I have another stream open for a friend. Because I haven't seen this. But hi, Crow. Hi, Katie. I would also like to preface this. V, thank you for giving me a fucking heart attack for telling me you watch my streams. Didn't know that, so thanks. I feel like I'm forgetting to do something. But it's fine. We're fine. What the fuck do I feel like I'm forgetting to do? It's fine. So you're probably wondering what the fuck we're watching. Well, if you know anything about me, Puppet Makes Jokes was a running joke between me and one of my mods, and we watched it. So now we're gonna watch it. That's... As I blow out my fucking hearing. Ow. That can be your volume. The puppet dude. The puppet dude. I also have a Coke and a White Claw, so don't be alarmed. I fucking love him.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Temple of Randicus.
Welcome to a new religion.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all very much for coming to worship this evening in the
I also
Temple
broke
of
my headphones
Randicus.
earlier today. I dropped them by accident.
Welcome all visitors to
Not
this
these ones, my
temple
editing
of
ones.
course. Your gender identity, sexual preference, political beliefs, fetishes, and phobias are none of our fucking business. Nor is your current address. We welcome you regardless of where you're from, or perhaps more importantly, regardless of which bit of the earth your mother happened to be on when you were lifted from her stomach or pushed out of her vaginal canal. It doesn't bother us. Seriously. We had someone in from Ocean Shores last night. We let them have a seat and everything. It's a very broad church. It's a fucking broad church.
Oh.
Hello there, what's your name?
Is he looking down the aisle?
Am I looking at someone? Anyone in that general vicinity? Am I too low? You there? Hello? No, fuck that side. Hello, what's your name? What is it? Wendy. Wendy! How are you, Wendy?
I'm fantastic, thanks for asking.
Oh, thank you for coming to my show. Wendables, where do you live? Just fucking down the road. You a local, Wendy? You've been here for a long time?
I had a local but only 12 years. So.
Oh, 12 years, that's not local. How long do you have to live here before you're a local?
20.
20? What's that, mate? Someone was like, I didn't hear it. We're a local until you're fucking born here and die here. Wendy, good on you. Do you come to many shows here in the beautiful Brunswick Picture House?
I try to come as full as many as I can.
Well, thank you for choosing this
Aw.
one. I'm honored to have you here, Wendy. Yeah, let's hear it for Wendy. Someone wants to clap? Let's do it. You're a bloody legend, Wendy. Hey, actually, as a local, Wendy, you can help me out with this. I came here through Byron Bay, and I would just happen to drive through at this moment where the entire sky was just fucking full of bats. Does that happen often?
My children.
Mate, I've been to Byron a bunch of times, never seen the bats. Freaked me the fuck out.
My children.
Bats, like I'm from Melbourne, there's heaps of bats in Melbourne, but this was phenomenal. It was like, coolest shit I've ever seen. Just millions of, what's the collective noun for bats? Anybody know? A colony?
No.
A cloud? A what?
It's a cult, I think. I think it's called a cult, if I remember correctly. Or am I thinking about birds? What is a colony of... Oh, a cauldron! Shit. A group of bats is sometimes called a cauldron. Bat groups are also called a colony when large or cloud when they are large.
Yeah, let's go with the bats. Just a bats of bats. Yeah, so
That's gonna give some fan art. It's just me just having all of you in a little fucking pot. Cauldron.
bats, right? The whole sky full of bats, and then in the middle, just one seagull. Just freaking the fuck out. He's going, too many bats! I think I got on the wrong train. Is this the way to the ocean? I don't speak bat. Can you speak any seagull?
Don't bully my children.
Shit. Yeah. Byron's a very cool place. I feel a bit like a seagull amongst the bats myself when I'm there, Wendy. It's a weird place, you know. I was there, everyone's fucking cool. There were kids on the beach today just doing nangs, just inhaling them out of balloons. I was like, fuck, that's cool.
You just having a nang, mate? You gonna share?
And I saw heaps of people cruising around in sweet cars, just cranking sweet.
Oh, that's why I don't like White Claw. So
fire.
there's spiked sparkling water, and I fucking hate sparkling water.
I wish I was that cool, you know, but I just don't have the playlist to back it up.
This week's podcast is brought to you by Pet Guns. But there's nothing cool about driving around in your car with the windows rolled down, just cranking a true crime podcast.
Shit. The people over here was hilarious.
And lock eyes with the person in the car next to me, just at the most horrific bit of detail. And I have to nod my head like I'm listening to a cool song. Just as like, that's when the murderer disemboweled his 38th victim. I'm like, yeah.
God.
Have you heard this one? It's a classic. You can get it on iTunes. You can get it on iTunes. Oh.
Speaking of, I need to add my podcast to fucking Extreme Elements stuff.
But don't worry, you're in safe hands, my brothers and sisters. I know the cloak and the candles, particularly in the current climate, may be a little triggering for some people, but we're in this together tonight, okay? This is a group effort. It's about evolution. We're going to collectively rewrite the rules tonight, my beautiful Brunswick Heads parishioners. Starting with turning your phones off, all right? Just if they're on, just fucking switch them off. The show doesn't go for that long. Just be present.
Hey,
it'll be
get
fun.
out of here.
Oh, this is Sush.
Who left the door open?
Probably me.
Oh.
I think it was because he was still in there. Oh, Sush, why are you causing problems? Sushi, come here. I'm kidding. Hi, buddy. Hey, boy. What you doing? How you doing? Was he in the bathtub or was he on the rug? Hi there. He's so cute. Look at my cute boy. Sush.
Oh.
Sushi. Come here, boy. Not you, Gucci. I summoned a Gucci instead.
What's that?
I summoned the Gucci instead. I was trying to get sushi, but I got the Gucci.
Gucci sushi Bye. Oh my god.
So,
And if you do leave your phone on, fucking commit. Take calls. Fucking make calls. Come up here and make calls. Come up here and make calls with your wireless headphones in like an asshole. Couldn't give a fuck. Don't take photos. Resist the temptation to take a photo for an hour. How the hell are you going to get through it? I mean, seriously, what are you going to do with those photos? Show them to your grandchildren? Oh, look, this is when I went to see Randy. What the fuck is a Randy?
Saran.
Your memories are worthless, Grandpa. We had a meeting. You're out of the family. So take photos at your own risk. Who's having a beverage this evening, alcoholic style? Yes! If you
что
drink,
вы?
that's great.
А?
If you're on drugs,
Пуськи-карапуськи. You little shits. You better learn how to vacuum. That would be like such an amazing, such an amazing scene, right?
The persons are getting yelled at.
even better. Apparently I'm very into
I
taking
see.
a shot. There's a lot of colour and movement that goes on here. It's like a live cartoon.
The garbage picks
So
up
now's the
dates
time
when
to
you move
bang into that
shits.
second cookie. I know you
Look
are.
at that.
I've got your number. You're
It's the worst.
So we're going to have some fun tonight. It's going to be a loving experience. The only stipulation is that we respect each other's existing belief systems. Alright? I know it's a bit fucking churchy up here, but the idea is that we all move towards a common collective belief. And to speed that process up a bit, it's best that we have a prejudice-free dialogue this
I
evening.
want some
Unless you're a
yum.
Scientologist, in which case you can go fuck
How
yourself.
is I might want some sandwich too. What? What is so funny?
If you're a part of Scientology, you can go fuck yourself.
I am not a part of Scientology.
I know, but the video I'm watching made a joke to it.
Oh my gosh.
Fun fact, there's a Scientology building
Huh?
near my school.
Scientology, see?
Yes. It's very funny. It's like, yes, what are you gonna do with a bunch of gay art students? Try to indoctrinate them? Nah, we're too gay for you.
People are very protective of their faith. And rightfully so. Faith is everything. Faith can provide purpose, comfort, structure, and meaning. Faith can also protect bigots, justify atrocities, and perpetuate discrimination. But so could the Jackson family, apparently. So let's concentrate on the positive, shall we? The point is...
Damn.
The point is you gotta have faith. Alright? You gotta have faith. You gotta have faith, the faith, the faith. You've got to have faith, the faith, the faith. Baby! Any George Michael fans in the house? Strap in for this piece of information. I actually own an autographed copy of George Michael's Faith.
Oh, hi,
on
Sush.
cassette tape.
Hi, Sush.
How cool is that?
Sush.
How sweet is that?
Sush is on the counter.
If I want to listen to it, I'm going to have to go and buy a tape deck and then wind 1.5 meters of tape back into the cassette with a pencil, like we used to do when we wanted to listen to Dire Straits on a road trip with our parents, with all the windows rolled down, because that's what we used to do before air conditioning was invented. On our way to SeaWorld, because that's where we went on holidays before animal rights were invented.
Oh.
Eating ice creams on the way, because that's what we used to do before injecting insulin was invented. It was a different time back then. I'm at that age now where I've started using phrases like, I'm at that age now. And I'm also at that age now where I haven't yet, and I don't believe I ever will, resort to vaping in any shape or form. I'm never gonna vape. I'm not gonna become a fucking vapor. It just feels like a betrayal to all of those sweet, sweet cigarettes that I smoked throughout my life. Like, if you used to smoke cigarettes and now you vape, you're a real piece of shit.
Never did.
You used to be cool, man. Now you're standing there just on some street corner filleting a mini exhaust pipe like Fonzie's shit sibling. You used to be fucking cool. I remember the glory days of smoking. This whole room will have been full of cigarette smoke. We all would have stunk like shit, but we didn't care because we were fucking cool. There would have been ashtrays everywhere. You couldn't move for ashtrays. Now you can't fucking find one anywhere. Spare a thought for the ashtray manufacturers. They're all living in their cars now, thanks to you fucking vapors. And it's not just the ashtray people. What about the people that make matches?
They're still a business.
Spare a thought for the companies that used to print nightclub logos onto those little books of matches so that grizzled old homicide detectives could fish one out of the pocket of a corpse and know where to start looking for the killer.
They still actually have those.
Upon thousands of unsolved homicides just because you fuckers want to vape. Bloody sick of it. Thank you, solitary clapper. Just one person, yes, I agree, but no one else does, so I'll shut up.
Aw. Ah, yes.
George Michael, eh?
God.
Where did George go?
Chapter 9, verse 16.
Someone said to the bathroom. Someone followed up very quickly with, he's dead. I'm aware of that, but I just want to know, like, where did George go? Where's George?
He's dead. Then there's Chunky. He's dead. DK. Chunky's dead. I don't know why that came into my head. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, chat. You gotta deal with my shit today.
Some of you believe he's having a lovely time reunited with his dead relatives. Some of you believe he's awaiting resurrection to face his final judgment. And some of you believe that George Michael's extracurricular activities, such as touching other men's penises with his own penis, for example, will have earned him an eternity as a rotisserie chicken in the kebab shop of damnation.
Kebab shop of damnation. That's where I'm fucking heading.
Michael is currently making a comeback, possibly as a platypus. Depends on his deeds, really. And the remaining 43% of you either believe that George Michael is slowly fertilizing the soil in Highgate Cemetery, or you don't really give a shit either way, or you didn't fill out your 2016 census form. Who didn't fill out their 2016 census form? Come on. Yes, we'll get a few woo, woo. I didn't fucking woo. Wendy, did you fill out your 2016 census form? I did. Oh, you did? Wow.
Just as screeches he makes.
If you remember, it was a couple of years ago, but what did you tick for faith or religious beliefs? Just bearing in mind this is a judgment-free environment and everybody else in the room has shared something intimately personal about themselves. Now it's your turn. Wendy. What's that, mate? It's a trap. It's a trap? No, there's no traps here, my friend. It's just fun times. What's your name? Weapon?
Oh my god, it's my kid.
Whoever decided to put their hands
Tabby!
on kids, please come out.
Holy shit, the cat still works.
Peacefully break your legs.
Tabby, you're back! My kid, how was stream? How was it? Ignore the puppet.
Too late? What do you mean, mate?
There we go.
You missed the 2016 census. Where were you, mate? Just punching a fucking cone somewhere.
Oh! I'm gonna cry. Did you try camera stalling Freddy in the corner?
Just off the grid, mate. No, Greg? What would you have ticked for faith or religious belief if you had a faith?
Ew.
Do you have a faith system?
Here, I'll add.
That's an option.
Is that Blimey Fox? You mean Foxy? Here, I'll give you your own emotes.
Your Jediism? You just using the Force on Tuesdays. The rest of the time you just
Listen, I know the video went out for a second. Oh my god, hello. Why are you exposing me? Alright then, never mind.
I can't see, Greg, but I'm making some assumptions about your character. I hope I'm in the ballpark. In case the cameras pick you up.
Ah yes, so the fox.
I've never tried drugs in my entire life.
People are gonna think very differently because I know people who are down bad for that fox. Hi, Ninja! Welcome in. How are you? I'm watching a puppet tell jokes and then I'm playing a game. You go to sleep, my child. Go to sleep. Good night, Tabby. We will. If you need to go to bed, go to bed. Unless you're like me and you generally don't give a fuck about your sleep schedule, then come vibe. Come vibe with me. I swear I'll play something after this. Actually, hold up. Where's my drink?
Blackness and abyss. Never been here before, never coming back. So where do you think George Michael went? Just in the ground? Yeah, nice one. Personally, Wendy, I believe that George Michael was abducted by aliens. They were very active in 2016, the year that George Michael died. Those musician abducting aliens. Fuck, they got some rippers that year.
Oh, look at that. There's my lovely Discord link. Yo, 100% should join my Discord. I'm not saying that. You should. You should. I'm a little bit of a chaos.
Cohen? It must have been some sort of alien university O-Week challenge. Scull a pint of hydrogen and bring back a popular musician from planet Earth.
Alright, night ninja. Go to sleep if you need to, again. Don't you love it when the fuck don't tell me it happened again?
So this book here, my friends, is the Book of Randicus. Okay? What the fuck is the Book of Randicus? Great question, Wendy. Thank you for asking.
My OBS did the thing where it fucking freezes up.
Asking questions.
So this is gonna be fun trying to figure things out.
Microphone too, Wendy. That was excellent forward planning on your part.
I'm gonna close the window because I don't
You
like
haven't noticed,
being able to
just
feel
read
how
up to
reflective
speed.
I am.
I have invented a new religion, okay? Pretty straightforward. Keep up. It's not Frasier. But this one Frasier.
Welcome to the darkness.
This religion
We enjoy the
is
darkness in
based
this
on the
household.
philosophy that Homo sapiens were elevated to the top of the food chain 70,000
Oi, OBS, what the fuck?
years ago.
The video's playing, but it fucking decided to freeze. OBS, you're killing me here. There we go.
Via the intervention of an intergalactic messiah named Beryl. Because fucking why not?
Never mind, OBS decided to go fuck yourself. We'll have to say this for later, apparently. Which is fine, because then I can switch to the game then. I have so many fucking tabs open. Now you fucking fix yourself? What? What fucking... I just spelled it wrong. Because I don't fucking... There we go. I don't trust OBS anymore. I don't fucking trust my own OBS. There we go. Hey, remember how I said I bought a fuck ton of games? This is one of them. Oh, you're adorable. Oh! This is gorgeous. Ah, finally. I thought for a second you would never wake up, little one. How ironic has that been, would it not? I'm a Greek mythology nerd. And Sharon. The spirit fair. Well, that is what I've been up until you arrived. I cannot say that I'm sad to leave, but I still had a few things left to do here. I'm afraid you will have to pick up things where I left them. After all, it is, after all, my very last day, and you are. Aww. Welcome, Stella. I see you've brought a friend with you. What's his name? Daffodil. If anything happens to Daffodil, I will fucking cry. I see. You two will share the burden then, and take over for me. As I said, in a few minutes it will be gone. I will be gone from this world, and that's why you are here. You will be the new spirit farer. Your task will be far from easy, but simple nonetheless. Go fetch the stay spirits stand on the island, and are ready to bring them back here. Dying souls can't pass away on their own. We will have to help them fulfill their last request and be at their service until their last breath. Is this gonna fuck me up? The big round bridge over here is the Ever Door. The Alpha where everything starts, the Omega where everything ends. This is where all the quests get completed, where existence meets its threshold. There's no task more important than this one. Never forget this, Stella. Here. There's something I need to give you. Is that a soul? Now be careful with it. It is the Everlight. It's a symbol of your status here and the only tool you will ever need. Wait, what Daffodil already causing... Oh, how highly inappropriate. Oh, that's... Did Daffodil just steal one? Everlight will help you throughout your travels. It will be the light that shines in the darkness and the last remaining hope of the departed. What? Why are you being so fucking chirpy? Come here. Come here then, don't be a bitch. Hope is a flame that light will never falter. The beacon of eternity. It is heavy and inconvenient, but there is no greater duty than this one. The fate of lost souls rests on your shoulder. Wait, come here. Have a piece of string attached. Look, I was overwhelmed too at first. Just try to keep your focus. Take it one step at a time. You will soon get used to this place, accustomed to these moments. You are the new spirit fire. After all. One last thing. Once I'm gone, you'll have to find a ship of your own. Mine is not suited for you and will fade away once I'm gone. You might find one not too far from you if you keep going, rowing the right direction at a time. Probably. It's time. Here I go. So long, Stella. Good luck. You will need it. I'm completely normal about this. Oh, thank God. Stella. It really is you. Stand up straight, let me get a look at you. You look good. And Daffodil is here too, I see. We'll have to find a lint roller then. It might not be that obvious after all. It's me, Gwen. Good thing you found me. You heard that means. Oh, you're the new spirit fire. You are the one placing Caron. I was trying to get rid of him and only end up by accident. I was stuck in this disgusting island for about a week living off sardines and cigarettes. Funny how I used to be the one getting you out of trouble here. I see you have an Everlight now. Of course. See that boat over there? That's the one. It's obviously subtly shallow, but let's camaraderie it. My widget works into the spirit fire. Okay, meet me at the dock over there. I'll explain it all. Ah. Oh my god, why can I not make that all of a sudden? The cat fucking makes it, but I don't. Damn. How the fuck? There we go. The cat! Wait, the cat! That is adorable. I'm completely normal about that. Okay, here goes. Hope my fur coat won't get too damaged. Wonderful. I'm not one to jump for joy, but it feels good, much better than anticipated. So, do I see if this boat is yours, don't you think? Good. As long as you're a spirit, welcome. Any strays. Stray spirit is your new job. And once aboard, they will assume their true form. Well, that's my theory anyways. Why are you looking at me like that? You need to come here and give me a hug. How do I hug? Hug. Much better. Come with me now. Let's take a look at this chaos. What a mess. Reminds me of Aunt Petunia's old yard. Beautiful, unorganized testament of someone's laziness. Or a virtual responsibility to get rid of everything. At any rate, we should do something about this or my dust allergy will be back. Let me think. To clean this up, you have to meet Albert. He's our local shipwright, and his jokes are garbage, but he's the only one who can fix your boat. We should head over to Albert's shipyard. You must be wondering how to make this ship move. It's really easy, actually. Let me give you the key I found on this island. It'll lock the cabin at the back. You should find a map projector there. How do I know all this? Well, I was planning on escaping, remember? And you know me, I plan things meticulously. Very meticulously. Go, open up the cabin, Stella. The map projector should be simple enough to use. Just have to go to Al. Oh my god, we have a bed. Oh, Captain, let's make a deal. As I understand, the ship is powered by Everlight. This is how this cruises this ocean and revealed the stray spirits. Also explains why I can't do anything by myself. You must admit, it's quite fascinating. I feel overwhelmed. Come on, this spirit, the Everdor, the spirit fairs, this place, the boat, me being, it's a lot. I was wondering what's going on. Truth be told, I don't really know either, but I'm here for you. I do my best to help you and try to make sense of it all. I said earlier, I want to leave by myself, but somehow I just couldn't. Now that I see you, I think I know why. I'll give you some space or not. Don't hesitate to explore the ship. You can even give that fishing rod a try. The world is your oyster. So, Captain, let's make a deal where we. I'm starting to sink. Oh. Can I ring the bell? Hee hee! Serotonin. So, Captain, let's make a deal where we both say that we don't. I feel. Luna! Hi. I got a fish. I got to fish. I love how they made this so then we are here. Nice. Hee. I'm playing fun game that I've heard a lot about. I heard I could hug people. But I also am terrified this is gonna fuck me up. Now head to Albert Shipyard and upgrade your blueprint station. It's the only way to clear this kettle. I'm curious about what we can make out of it. Considering the smell, I'd say at least 7 different types of dirt and dust. It's so pretty. That's a shark. Yeah, I love how this game made it have the arrows and the ASDW. Over here. Welcome to my shipyard, young traveler. Yeah, my prices, our customers, our best friends. I'm Albert. Being in the business of shipbuilding for ages, should I assume you're the new Sparefarer? Well, of course you are. Anyways, you've been able to start this ship and bring it all here. Gwen was right to point you towards my humble enterprise. Let me see what you have. Nice little dinghy. Funny, it looks exactly like the one I built some time ago and stored in my old shipyard. The dyslexia is hitting. I was unhappy about a gloomy and dark arc. Actually, he was always complaining about something, but the customer's always right, so I built him a newer, better one. Of course, he was never abandoned his previous boast. Old habit, die hard. Gucci, I swear to God. You chirpy little fuck. Don't worry, we can keep this one. Let's just call it a loan. Let me tell you something. You know, we always joke about construction here. Don't worry. We're still working on it. Anyways, the little bit of load this bird should be 8% again. First time for everything, you'll need a proper blueprint table. Since it's your lucky day and I'm feeling generous, I'll offer it to you free of charge. Mind you, it's a bit bare bones in terms of functioning, but subsequent upgrades will come at a small price. You want to buy those almost immediately. Simple directly to upgrade the ship. Traveler. So what do you need? Ah. I'm assuming we need to do an upgrade then. The fuck? What? I was like, we have no money. What do you want? friend? Nothing much, just got my cat because he's being a menace, so now he's going to play a video game with us. You are not getting on my keyboard. Hi, friend. Welcome in. How's your day/night going? Look at him. Elf, his brother. Gucci, or Sushi has awoken. Long time no see. It has been. It has been. Gonna move this out of the way. Are you actually gonna sit with me? Are you? It's Lukema. I know. I love her face. Oh shit. I love her. Look at her. She's like, no. She's like, no. I'm not getting in the water. She's like, you cannot make me. She's just there. I love her. Okay, wait. Inventory. She's being cute and adorable. I love her. Upgrade my blueprint station. Gotcha. I swear I'm not stupid. Take some time to write to your pen pals. There you go. You'll be able to build and edit your ship on your boat. What a treat. But if you really want to upgrade your boat in size, it's a pleasure. Come back when you're filling your boat kits to cry. Cheers. There we go. Finally. Good. Albert gave it to you for free, and he said to loan the ship to you. Ominous. I have to know what he has in mind, but it doesn't sound reasonable. Enables us to focus on cleaning up this deck. And select the move option. You'll be able to remove any buildings and get back resources. Go for it. I'll wait down here. I don't know why I don't know why I'm yawning. That's the map. Oh, whoa. That's cool though. Upgrades request. Oh, it's above my cabin. Yes. Ah. Alright. Edit. Back. Wonderful. That's just a really satisfying sound. It did a wonderful job, Stella. Good news is you have enough resources to add a guest house to your ship, a necessary amendment. Merely welcome sailors such as yourselves will have a temporary place to relax and sleep. Well, sleep not really. Tell you for sure that no one will be thrilled to spend more than a night in there. But it beats sleeping on the deck. The stars are pretty, but the wood is stiff and the humidity is hard to tolerate. I'll leave it to you. Have fun. Ow, I'm yelling so much. I'm not that tired. Kitchen, garden, field. Oh, it's just a cozy little... This guest house is very pretty. It has your touch. Nice work as usual. Now at last I have a place to sit down and enjoy the view. Oh, wait. What's going on? Something else is happening. Ah, I should have expected this. I'm actually hungry. Very hungry. You know how a terrible cook I am, but I remembered you being such fantastic at it. You might have fished up a few fish already. Trouble is, I can't eat entire raw fish. I could for sure, but I'd probably choke on the fish bone and never survive. And that's not how you want me to go, as absurd as it sounds. Well, the kitchen board. Swells in to sit down. Cried a bright jelly. To get some. Look, I should have told you when I first met you. Scares the hell out of me. Dark presence I've never cowered from. The void that swallows. Meow, meow, meow. It's always jellyfish. Fully rare the irony. A bright jellyfish needed for kitchen. Fried for you. So there's no other option. To face my fears. But you're here. With you I can do it. It's a dark patch of pure fear on my map. So you can't miss it. I know exactly where we're going. So, Captain, let's make a deal where we both see the things. I feel scared and now I'm starting. Oh shit, what was the button to reel them in? Oh shit, fuck. The fact that she's playing with it is kind of cute. Haha, it was enter. I should have kind of figured. Caught a herring. Nice. I love that. Fuck. Why does that bell give me so much happiness? Whoa. We're here. Damn. Here they come. Remember, set your eyes on the one with the bright jelly. They should be visible enough. They say pop as many as you can. Get a glimpse anyways. Sorry. Stay out here. Go ahead, I believe in you. Gotcha. Gotcha, bitch. Ooh, the music! The music do be glorious. Get back here. Alright, there's another one coming. Mine. I think I need one more because I think it's 10 I need. Big boy. Damn! Oh, 6. I'm on the way. Ah, yes. I forgot to tell you about this. So you can see this boat stops at night. I believe it's a side effect you're ever, like, being, well, light. Or other technicalities. That being said, it will allow people to sleep undisturbed. You, in the meantime, can do anything you want. Tackle unfinished business or just chill at the dock under the stars. I suggest you go to sleep, too, in that little cozy room atop your cabin. You'll wake up refreshed, ready to go. The ship will start again this morning. Oh, and talk about that. You know me, waking up at times has never been my forte. You can ring the big bell over there to wake people up. Remember, only you do it at the right time. Early mornings do the trick. Speaking of which, time for me to take a nap. See you tomorrow, Stella. Have a good night. Did I put her room on top of the kitchen? I sure fucking did. What? Chappy. Oh no, she's talking to me about the kitchen. You can use the kitchen oven. It should be rather simple. Put one ingredient in the oven and wait for it to cook. You can never lose corn kernels that have been hanging around my pot. You got this. Cook. The cat's just like, what the fuck? I got popcorn. I love this. It's so cozy so far. I could eat anything. Just give me some food. Well, I won't die just yet. Thank you, Stella. It's better than I could have thought it'd be. Then again, it's always been a wonder in the kitchen. Don't forget, spirits don't run on sunshine and water. Good meal once in a while. Especially you understand who's fond of what. And for me, I'm sure you remember, I love comfort food. Die for a cup of coffee, but I'm not that picky. I can eat anything. Just never the same thing twice. Here's something I was supposed to give you. I'm not exactly, but it works. Simple passage. It's a fee each spirit has to pay you. I think you already knew that already. Proving this craft, you must have seen it at your blueprint table. Many different things. The ship has an adorable farm of sorts that I've filmed the first, in my opinion. It's going to be easy to find resources for Yolanda, and you can grow wine in there. Craft more things. In addition to build a field, we should buy some seeds. That will come later. You need to visit the island nearby. Mustang Cove, we need. Tell you when we get there. Ah, shit. Ah! That's so cute. I also love that style of, like, room. Alright. Alright. We're going to the cove. I just cracked my neck. Good morning, Stella. Sorry, I'm okay now. Gotcha. Don't ask me how, but I've met Alba already. He definitely is a shark. But his interest in all things marine will be helpful, such as boat upgrades he'll sell at an outrageously high price. With those, you'll be able to cross ominous weather barriers in the world. They'll look like classic mythical challenges again. A bit cliche if you ask me. Them damn herrings. You bother me in every game, what the fuck? The cove has been discovered. Is that a new friend? What a magnificent tree. Well, you can't cut it down. Yes, it's fine, I promise. It's the best way to get wood you actually need. They'll regrow over time. Another interesting fact about the Everlight. Timber. Well done. Congratulations. For now, you become Death the Destroyer of Worlds. Jokes aside, that's how you do it. Go ahead, cut down more trees. Back to the boat and build the field and with all those maple logs. I'll be next to the raft. Give me the raspberries. Funny enough, that's the flavor I'm drinking. Her face. Dandelion's face. Oh, Captain, let's make a deal where we both see the thing. Damn. Alright. There we go. I got limestone! Woo! Limestone! The way she's like, no. Oh! I got some bottles. Nice. Okay. Build a field. Yeah, let's do it like that. Let's make it right next to the kitchen. Make my life a little bit easier. Oh, and I can hop it. Sweet. A field. Huh. It's better looking than I thought. It's a little... Oh my gosh. No French. Simple but elegant. Now all you need to do is plant... Seeds can grow only in their respective place. Garden seeds won't allow to be grown in fields, so don't bother trying. But you know me. I would kill a plastic cactus. So don't take my word for this. Anyways, there's only one place where you could possibly find what we need. Theodore specializes in seed. He has set up a shop in Hummingbird, the busiest town in the area. Theodore and his brother are founders of Raccoon Inc., the shady retail franchise losing moral values. That's just business practice. Since I don't want to get you in spun, I'll come with you and most of the talking. I ran into this very cheeky lecture room once and his dishonesty was blatant. Hummingbird then. I'll swear I'll put something there later, but we'll just have Oh. So that's just resources. Let's go to Hummingbird. Oh, look, there's a picture. Yes. You know, I'm delighted that you are here with me. Though not surprised one bit, it adds up. Taking care of me in my final hours. Always cared so damn much about others. Always protecting those who you valued vulnerable. Even pretentious snobs like me. Remember the day my father yelled at the cat? We just got out of elementary school. You're wearing those blue sneakers with glittery tags. And they are yelling at my father like you're on a mission. Father turned red and smashed the perfect delos. It was rad. Actually rather hungry. Ah, shit, didn't she say she didn't like the two same snacks? The fuck was that shiny thing? Oh yeah, I was about to be like, didn't she say that she didn't like the... I also might as well just, like, make the popcorn. Just for the fucking hell of it. Hurry. Faster. Faster. But here, let's buy some seeds. Let's pay him a visit. I was about to be like, where's the cat? I'm going home. Don't follow me, please. I hate it when people know where I live. If you know my address, you'll tell people. Then they'll tell people, listen, I just don't want junk mail. Stop it. This is wrong. Leave me alone. I'm not casually just bullying someone. Oh. Take a look at this shrine stela. It's simply stunning. Some objects in the world are meant to resonate with the Spiritfarer and the Everlight. Perhaps this monument has been powered to enhance the Everlight's abilities. 2 slots will need to fill up, but fairly empty and you can use this to activate it, but you need ovals. Should have found some lost souls like me. Yeah, I was about to be like, how fucked up is this game about to make me? Like, how sad am I gonna be? On a scale of 1 to... No, on a scale of Hades to, no. On a scale of Stardew Valley to the beginner's guide. Whee! Oh, it's you. Good. There's Theodore. Go ahead and take a look at what he's selling. Yo, what do you got? God damn! In field, coffee beans. Oh, please, I need a coffee bean. Turnips. Those prices are out of control. I won't let him get away with this. Are you ready to see me obliterate this ration? Yes. Good. Let's do this. Theodore! I know what you're doing here, and you should be ashamed of yourself, you trash panda. Not the trash panda joke. Not the trash panda joke. People like you are the reasons we have middle fingers. What? Madam, what is the meaning of this? My friend is the real Spiritfarer. She's not the newbie, and neither am I. Little scam of yours won't work on us. But I show you my best is quite practice. Be warned, you treacherous striped weasel. Will not tolerate this behavior 1 second. No more shenanigans, no more double crossing, just fair prices. So stop being dishonest for once. Next time I'll see you, I'll be nicer. You start being smarter. Got it? But yes, of course. I promise I'll adjust my prices. I beg you, please don't scold me anymore. I'll give you a discount. Hey you. Yes you. Frank gave me a greedy some hell. You both look like you possibly joined the upstairs crew. You want to come up, don't you? I can see it in your eyes. Glad it's pretty cool being up here. Yeah, the best people are here. Don't get overexcited, though. Somebody needs to break the ladder. Have to be able to jump in human heights to make it. Stairs in the house is that, but some idiot lost the key. Oh well, anyways, see you. Stair crew forever. There we go. Okay. Got everything you need? I'll take my leave. Feel free to stay as long as you want. I'll meet you at the pier. Oh, let me guess. I'm a bit of a psychic, you know. Your name is Mary? It's Missy. Wait, no. Oh, shoot. I'll get it someday. Good day to you. What are you two doing? Oh, the cats might get into a fight. Did I just hear a goat? It's so pretty. Stop rattling my knob. A stroll at day keeps the doctor away, which reminds me, I haven't been to a doctor in forever. Oh no. Her face. What did I think about health all of a sudden? Suddenly start feeling unwell. I am not sick. I'm okay. Hope the next game will be released soon. Crunched the dates and spent 5 nights theoricrafting. Really, if you take the heavy weapon proficiency from the mountain gnome race. Is this fucking D&D? If you take the heavy weapon proficiency from the mountain gnome race, there's a What with the rogue ability? God. Sweet, but they're 5d20 and auto quick on prone can't be defeated. Am I right? 5d20s? Shit. Yeah, you might accidentally kill a person. But that's fine. I can't. The 5 fucking d20s. I can't get over that. Alright. Let's continue on. Oh, holy shit. Fucking 5d20. Goddamn. Please, I can't eat the same thing twice. See? No, sorry, Stella. You know I can't eat fruit for the life of me. I've tried, but I can't. Then take a hug then while I make some food. Thank you. Alright. Let's head back. I know it's too dark. Coffee beans. And then the corn. I swear I'm not tired. Oh yeah, shit, it's too dark. Yes. It's just so cute. It's just, I fucking love it. Why are you both looking at me like that? Gucci, why are you looking at me like I just caused a great war to happen? Okay. Is there any... Oh, the map is growing. Because they have the materials and such. I was like, I know she's hungry. There we go. Way ahead of me, Stella. Your thumb is as green as your hat. The spell will become cozy floating farm. Don't forget, you'll probably have to water the plants once in a while. Don't ask my word for it, though. My garden knowledge is limited as my father's empathy. You'll have to find a better mentor than me. Which reminds me, I believe it's time for you to find new people. Not that I don't like the idea of just the two of us cruising the ocean, but you're a spirit wearer. A spirit wearer finds spirits and help them fulfill their last wish, however mundane they could be. I heard of a place not far from you might need some help. Or like this one if he thinks who he is. Go, let's sail. Yeah, I want to get these supply crates first, and then we'll do the little thing. These fucking herrings, man. Who's near my foot? Gucci? No one was. It just felt like there was a cat near my foot. Okay. Weird. Oh, I don't think I mentioned I fucking fixed my Wi-Fi today. I don't know how, but I did. Hold S. Oh, I got a vibrant necklace. Pretty. Copper ore. Lovely, lovely. Oh! Ooh! Alright. Now the question is, how do I get back up? There we go. Alright. Can I harvest these now? I probably didn't need to water them. Alright, let's see. What can I cook with the radish? Oh shit, I'm cooking both of them, I think. Yeah, I'm just like, wait, please give me that back. Alright. Cook. It's about to be like, what happens if I... Oh my god, the cat's knocked out. Alright, well. We got that. Alright. It looks like we're going through a storm. Got a weird feeling. I'm actually rather hungry. I'm trying. You are just very fucking picky. I can just imagine it goes so fucking hot in this room. Oh, hi. Sush? Hi, Sushi. What did we get? Oh, we got grilled veggies. Nice. Recipes. So what if we cook just a single salmon? Oh, and the sushi's on the counter. Which should hopefully... I love the ideals. It's so cute. I just fucking... Ow, I just broke my elbow. Ow, fuck. Ow. I was not expecting that. Fuck. just realized the flags are rainbow. Nice. What did we get? What did we get? We got grilled fish. What happens if I cook raspberries? Oh. Not a fan of the weather. We're almost there. Now why are both of you on the counter? Poached fruit. Nice. Now I'm curious. What the fuck happens if I just cook a log? What would happen? The fact that she like hugs the arm is very cute to me. Because I do need more wood if I'm going to build another house. Timber. For the new person that's going to be coming in. And down we go. Hey. Oh, great. You're here. Listen. I just dropped a lemon in that pond. My fingers were so sticky. It's just sort of slipped. Why? Good question. Been eating delicious berries all day. Look at my hands. I swear. I've been experimenting. I wanted to squeeze all the bits of citrus on these wild fruits. Delicious berries were no... Unless. It's just been down there. And the water. I'll do it myself, but I have these puppy hands to take care of. That's the one. Just need to find tissues or something. Get berries all over it. Never mind. Just hold on to that lemon fruit. Don't go and squeeze it. Wait a minute. Maybe you can help me. This island's fresh out of food. My stomach's always empty. Maybe I could even help out aboard your ship. With cooking, fishing, and building. I don't have any of my spices and tools, but I'll make it work. Don't think about it much. Let's just get on your boat.
Siva. Ooh, that's so pretty. Okay, well, mommy needs some food.
The fact that Sushi took the... Stella! Oh wow, this boat is amazing. Here comes the red kicker, you little rascal. Get ready for a familiar reunion. He's a frog. It's me, Stella, your uncle. Hello. Surprise. Happy, I hope.
Okay,
And the throat.
excuse me.
Can't wait to see the sights in the sea with you. It was lonely with thoughts. Now I got you, Sprite. Let's set sail for a big adventure. Onwards. Wait a second. Is that a... Oh shit, the wood gave us coal. I knew it. That's a Seamaster 2000. Actually, never seen it in action. I've only heard the rumors. Apparently, you can catch the biggest and brightest fish out there. Wow, Stella, you know how to treat yourself. Wait a darn second. You're missing a few bolts. Let me guess. You've been fishing out mostly garbage. Well, not anymore. Thank you, dear uncle.
Uh-oh.
See difference immediately. Give it a go. To be fair, I've also been catching mostly herring, so. Oh, I just got a squid. Great catch, Sprout. They never stood a chance. You sure don't mess around. That what makes you a pro. This ace level of fishing has gotten me all rattled up, which reminds me, shiny thing in our pocket on the island. I have no idea what it does. Maybe you can hold on to it for safekeeping, I suppose. Oh, brother. Take a breather. Oh, and by the way, I'm curious, you might have already tried, but the water is very salty. Fish your heart's content if you want. You got 2 ovals. Remember that shrine in Helmingsburg? I'll try and end there. If you're lucky, we'll do something amazing. If not, we'll waste our time. You should go see. So it looks like they'll share that space. Which is nice. Something nice to do. To sleep we go. Yes. It's too dark to navigate. I know, we're sleeping.
What did Dad make for breakfast for you today?
He didn't. Nothing.
What the fuck? So he makes food for himself?
Wake up! Oh, thank God. Madam, you can have your goddamn coffee. This is what I call a storm. A spokesperson would never let their friends get hit by lightning, but I think we should try. Protect you. The lightning bolt will cause a sparkle. Lightning in a bottle. Isn't that bananas? This world. Lightning bottles are pretty handy roosters to come here equipped. Bye. For the thrill of your life. I'm about to get struck by lightning.
You go grab, please.
My kitchen. Oh no, we still going. The cat got hit! The cat got struck like last minute! The poor cat. That was fucking awesome. That was cool. I wasn't sure if we're gonna make it there for a second. Gabriel don't go quite a square. They feel a rumble. What a rush. They're pretty awesome catching those lightning bolts over the boat. You're being the best captain I could have asked for. Are you about to raid my goddamn kitchen? It's hungry. Okay. I just saw food. Keep them coming. Can't get enough of it. Okay. You! Take your fucking coffee. Now this is... You. Fucking... Oh me, woman. Alright. Down the boat we go. Oh, Captain, let's make a deal where we both say the things that we both... Oh! Fuck yeah, we're more powerful!
Are you done with chips?
While in the air, press spacebar again to double jump. Wait, oh my god. Oh my god. I unironically did the thing I need to do. Hey friend. My sister keeps asking me for money. How can I say no without saying no? Maybe I should ask someone to rob me. Oh, my sister some money. Good job. You made it. Making moves didn't up here. Kind of light earlier. It's not so great up here. Might get better. I don't have a membership card for you. You'll be an honorary member of the upstairs crew. I'll share the secret handshake, but I don't know where your hands have been. Yes, young person. I assume that you are busy. Of course you're busy. Wait a second. You don't have a full-service kitchen. Come back when you do. I have quite the pitch for you. Good day to you. What? Oh, you gave me such a fright. That cat, he looks familiar. Daffodil? Is that you? Oh, yes, it is. So silky, are you not? Then that missed me. Still, is that really you? What a fantastic turn of events. But over there at sea, you come to rescue me again, I see. Well, fast not. This time, I'll be the one doing the teaching. You can bet it. Let's get going then. We have some lessons to go through. I was like, damn, she just keeps going off screen. The way that she just... Ah! Browsing press and 5. Step right up, potential prospects. Welcome to Raccooning. I've been serving human bearing presents long. You have the gilms. I've got the goods. I've got a way to make. Step right up. Don't question how I can do that so quickly. There you go. Man looks like he just fucking robbed me of everything I owned.
Yeah.
I don't even think I meant to get them. Right, who are you? Over here, that's a 1. Stella, all this air. All this open space. Yes, I can feel it growing quite nicely here. Look at me. Flowering already. Is she a snake? What a feeling. Thank you, Stella. Is she a snake? You're sweet. Oh, her name's Summer! Now, about the garden. Don't think feeling a bit sad. Sure could use some greenery. Let's add a bonus small garden because of its nice classroom. I'm thinking about teaching this for a while now. Cutting for plants from A to C. Out loud. Maybe I need to work on the name some more. Did you accidentally step on the Gucci?
Yes. Right. He lost a few hair.
For delicious meals. Is he actually hungry though? Oh my god, he likes everything. You are gonna be so much more easier to deal with. Alright. Let's build. Shit. There we go then. We have a garden. Yes, perfect. What a wonderful little garden. You already outdid yourself, Stella. First lesson. Make sure there are some seeds in the plot. They will be important.
Hey! What happened?
I don't know. Did you miss the jump? Alright, we'll do the 2 carrots. And also the radish. Let's see now.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
For our first lesson, we'll start with something I've been excited to share. This world has strange rules, as you probably noticed already. And a preacher for love towards all living things. As you see, a garden is a vessel of love. A mirror we hold to ourselves. This seems truer now than ever. Back on my island, I was lonely. I sang to the flowers. As I expected, they grew much more vigorous. Through trial and error, I managed to write little songs. These plants seems act particularly well to it. And to further teach you, observe and with you. Go inside the garden and try preparing peace to your crops. So hungry. Oh my god.
I'm gonna have to say stop.
Oh god. Ignore that.
Okay. What's up there? Oh wow.
There we go. I see how this plant slayed and grew as you entertained them. It's that
Yes.
fabulous.
I
What?
think we should keep like that. So they can have access to that thing.
Okay.
You think so?
Yeah.
I will vacuum underneath it and move it back. You gonna finish this?
Probably not.
Yeah, because Dad will see, he will be like, what the fuck?
As I suspected, emotion with this world manifest themselves much more vividly. Spread the word about this fascinating discovery, and who knows, other passengers might know how to play some music too. Might find, if in a good enough mood, speaking of which and all the common, forgot something. Here, this is for you. Took me ever since I arrived. So you're just not one of those pollen allergies again. Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Oh my god. Roller it now.
Alright, fishing time. Because why not? Do some fishing. Got a bottle. Get in here. I caught a cod. Nice. Ooh. Top to bed. Yes. Distribute with this, but the last several weeks I've been in strange dreams. There were giant snakes that most of the street and rotten fruit. The shining unit crew have been much more clear. I think it's the air this year, maybe the magical energies that ever light. However, I've been convinced that my dreams have been visions. And furthermore, I think they might be coming from my mutual acquaintance. Looking at the map of your cabin, my eyes have been drawn to his food stock that I marked. Should visit no point in making them wait. I've been having unsettling dreams. Would you like a hug? Chakras have not allied. Everyone wake the fuck up. The Everdor. The shipyard. Crates. Green Lantern Bay. You did good. Now we got a real boat going. I have to take care of these passengers now. They'll be the one testing your patience, not me. Something asking. You might have noticed by now that all of the guest house is not the ideal. Especially since it's getting crowded in there. Look, I'm not complaining, you know. I think it's time to have a space of my own. Build me. Gwen's Lodge. 1 second, I gotta build a lodge for a bitch. Kidding. Oh, thank God. Damn. Back. So move the kitchen. Oh, shit. There we go. I was like, it's the slightest bit off center. 1 second. I love it. This cabin is outstanding. It really does wonders. Such a place around. It does remind me of our old condo in Waver. Probably the only place where I could get some peace and quiet. Thank you, old friend. Yes. Took like your blueprint. It's nice, I suppose, but you know what? Make it even greater. More plans, bigger, better. Pencils. I'm just saying. Sure, Albert. Shipyard. Are you okay? Sush. Sushi, no. Sush. He missed his jump. Help you out? Oh, goodness. Sushi, no. Sush missed his spot. Face the board. I like it, don't get me wrong. I don't have to worry. I'll be alright. Sorry I brought it up. Is hungry. Okay. Food. Incredible. Okay. hungry. Oh my god, I can finally use the fucking popcorn. I gave the popcorn. It's fine. Cook. Or... Some popcorn for her. And then adventure. Damn. There we go. Alright, we got some copper. Is it you? Hey, I came here to come down these streets,
Okay,
but
shit.
I forgot my axe. I think someone else died. That would be strange. I like the way my axe feels. It's sturdy and calms me. Oh, I miss that axe. I was writing poetry. It's not very good, but it's getting better. Hopefully no one finds their terrible poetry. No, it was S in space. Accidentally was pressing C. Valuable ring. Why'd I forget my axe? I'm lost without it. Upgrade your blueprints. Marked on the map. We went to the wrong place. I don't see what her mark on the map was. Oh, it's in the middle of the sea. I think I need to explore a little bit more and get more of the map. What the fuck was that? is hungry. Thank you. I was quite hungry. Does she like that type of food? Big boy. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Damn, I saw that really last second. Gotta give that woman her goddamn coffee. Sea snake. Still, I'm sure you remember my old sewing machine. It was Beauty Bear. The gold, the lettering, and manual mule. But into textiles. A few years ago, I went to a museum that had a ton of different sort of fabric crafting machines. Couldn't help but notice that you could buy a loom on the ship. Great opportunity for me to teach you a few tricks. But soon. Okay. Need to get a goddamn loom. Ah. there, young lady. Guess you must be the new Spitfire. Happy to make your acquaintance. I'm Francis. You may say I'm sort of wandering merchant. You see, I'm very fond of things. Objects cursed. So, buy anything you don't want anymore. An old seed. Go. Oh, baby girl. No. My brain's just like, no, not today. Brain's going burr. Yo. I'll get a mailbox soon. I just have to go get the wood for it. Need to do. I got the surplus of energy. I need to get my hands busy. Can you do me a solid? I've always said my favorite niece. You know that. This sawmill. Yeah. Can you help me out? Okay. Guest house. Sawmill. Okay. Do that. There's the merchant Francis. Crates. We'll use the grove. So I'm pretty sure both of those don't have wood. Oh, my shoulder just popped. Ow. Great, that was weird. Don't tell Albert, but he left some bolts loose. He's probably just in a hurry. Give me a second. There we go. That did more than I thought. Let's see here. First, you can travel safely and not go through dangers he has to offer. When using your map, just toggle the safe travel mode. It's that simple, and don't worry, it won't stay on forever. Next time you select a destination, it will be on. Hope that helps. Oh yeah, the engine's been boosted. Set multiple destinations on a point. That's pretty handy. Set your course and let the wind do its job. We'll have fun. Oh, thank God. Can you put the kitchen back? What recipes have I learned? See, what can I cook with a carrot? Oh, I swear to God, I watered these. Right. I just realized the cat's singing along. Well, that was kind of useless in a sense.
Васька,
Oh, it just did good.
let's
Huh.
go get the mattress.
What?
Let's go get the mattress.
In a sec. Actually, no, now let's go. Let's go get the wood and stuff. Oh, that fucking cat animation. Fuck. Just gotta do a little saw. Give me the raspberries. The way they catch is like, what happened? Timber. Got some limestone. Alright, cool. I didn't realize that the moon partially gets covered up. That's a really cute detail. Alright. Alright. It's too dark to navigate, I know. I just... No, let me go to sleep. Let me also build the thingy. And then I'll end. She won, it's going on top of her house. Okay. Cool. I did it. Oh, that's such a fucking glorious... That's such a pretty fucking, like, end screen. Alright. I'm ending it here. There's someone who's live. Nah. /Ray. There we go. It has been made. I need a nap. I'm kidding. I won't feel that tomorrow. That's D&D nights where my friends traumatize me even more.